The following program is a SUTV production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
Welcome to SUTV's Sports Night. I'm Travis Nardella.
Will Lovington.
Amanda Newman.
Amir Carter.
And tonight we're just going to start off with some Salisbury sports news. The 24th ranked men's soccer team won this Saturday against Frostburg State. It was their conference opener, and they got the victory. Junior forward Tanner East got the team's only goal in a 1-0 victory.
Freshman Billy Fowler was able to give a nice assist in the middle where East connected into the right side of the net. Going into the half with the momentum and 1-goal lead, Salisbury managed to outshoot the Bobcats 10-2. The 8-2 Seagulls finish off their home stretch next Saturday, October 5th, as they take on new conference foe, Penn State University Harrisburg, at the SU Soccer Complex. Salisbury University's women's soccer team dropped its conference opener 2-1 to York College Saturday afternoon. Freshman Megan Jackson led the Salisbury attack, netting the only Seagull goal of the afternoon. Jackson and sophomore Logan O'Meara tied for the team's lead with 3 shots on the afternoon. The Seagulls got on the board first, but the Spartans would pull ahead with the game winner later with a goal by Emily Cronese. Salisbury outshot the Spartans 6-4 in the first half, with each team attempting 12 shots for the game. The Seagulls are next in action a week from today, October 5th, traveling to Fredericksburg, Virginia, to take on the University of Mary Washington.
The number 25 Salisbury University volleyball team improved to 17-2 on Sunday afternoon, defeating Virginia Wesleyan College 3-0 at Mag's Physical Activity Center. The Seagulls were led by freshman Katie Soffer and junior Julie Piston, who tallied 13 and 12 kills respectively. Virginia Wesleyan was able to put together a run and even score 11-11. And with the teams tied 14-14, Salisbury put together an 11-4 run close to the first game. SU never trailed again in the game, and with the help of 4 more Soffer kills, took the second set for the 2-0 lead. The third set began with a kill from Benit, a service ace from junior Michelle Meehan, and a kill from Smith to give the Salisbury Seagulls a 3-0 lead before the Marlins would get a point. Salisbury will be back in action Wednesday as it travels to number 19th ranked Christopher Newport University for its first Capital Athletic Conference match of the season.
The number 3 Salisbury University field hockey team suffered its second loss of the 2013 season on Saturday night, falling 1-0 at number 11, the College of New Jersey. The Lions came out firing and pushed into the Seagulls' defensive end of the field, applying pressure throughout the contest. The Lions notched the first 9 shots, including the only goal of the game. Junior Mallory Ellett put Salisbury's first shot on goal and was the 49th minute, which was turned away by TC and J. Keeper. The Seagulls' only other shot on goal came in the 66th minute when freshman Yumi Kim fired off a shot turned away by Caruso. The Seagulls return home on Wednesday night, hosting Rowan University at Seagull Stadium.
Start off with baseball. The playoffs are starting tonight, and let's talk about the last game of the regular season. There was some special stuff that happened with the no-hitter.
Oh yes, definitely. The Miami Marlins had a spectacular game. We usually don't have a big crowd to see moments like this, so it was special for Hernandez Alvarez.
Yeah, it's a really bizarre no-hitter. He pitched all 9 innings, no hits, but still didn't even know that he had a no-hitter.
That's how you accomplish it. You don't tell him that he has it, so he just focuses on his game. And the way it ended was wild too. Ended with a walk-off wild pitch, which we never see happen.
That was crazy.
I mean, there's not many times you'll see any no-hitter that will, with the going into the 9th inning, the score be 0-0. So, I mean, you figure had the 9th inning ended 0-0, do you think they would have kept Alvarez in, go for the 10-inning no-hitter, or would you have pulled him at that point?
I would have kept him in. His last game of the season. He's only had 99 pitches, and it's the Marlins aren't going to the playoffs, so it was his last start of the season.
Right.
So I didn't see any problem with keeping him in.
And that makes
Yeah.
sense for him to not know that he had a no-hitter. I mean, you thinking 0-0, you're not thinking I have a no-hitter. You're thinking my team needs to win this game because I want to go home. So you're
Yeah.
thinking that's what drove him, and to have a moment like that is very special. But do you guys think that we've seen a lot of no-hitters now, probably in the past couple of years. Is it because pitchers are just getting better and we're seeing pitchers at their prime, or is it because the hitters are decreasing in their skills?
I think it's the pitchers.
Pitchers are
It's
getting
gotta
better.
be the pitchers. I
Yeah.
mean,
Definitely.
sluggers around the league like Josh Hamilton, Bryce Harper, Mike Trout coming in, Chris Davis. I don't think there's any argument could be made that the batting is getting worse and worse. I think it's got to be the pitching is just being that good.
Absolutely. Speaking of Chris Davis, it was awfully sad how he suffered that left wrist sprain the other day. And he ended his season with only 53 home runs. I mean, it's good, but
Only
he was
only
aiming for
53 home
60.
runs.
I wanted him to get 60. But
Saw him one time
it was
hit
still
a,
good.
hit a home run with one arm. That's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, how does his natural strength? He's one of the guys that I hope will move on, get up in the high in the ranks for home runs, and prove that he didn't have to use any extra help
Yeah.
to get there.
And he makes it look so effortless when he hits the home run. It's like, boop.
Well, now that September's come to an end and October's here, that means only one thing: playoff baseball. Wild cards are tonight with Pittsburgh playing Cincinnati. Who do you guys favor in this matchup?
I think Pittsburgh, only because they're the home team. Like, Cincinnati's a really good team, but I think Pittsburgh, because they're the home team, it's the first time that PNC Park has ever seen the playoffs. So that stadium is going to be electric,
Crazy.
and I think the atmosphere is going to bring the Pirates the win.
I'm taking Pittsburgh.
I agree. Pittsburgh's is 11-8 in the regular season series against the Reds, so they know this opponent. I think they'll be ready to come out and get the victory.
Plus, everybody loves St. McCutcheon. But did you guys get to catch the Rangers-Rays game? Now that was interesting. That with the 5-2 and oh my
The
god.
tie break.
I love the baseball playoff situation, especially the tiebreaker, to get to the tie-breaking wild card to get into the playoffs. I love it. You just get that like Game 7 feel
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah.
I love it.
But did you see Longoria? I mean, he went 3 for 4 and almost hit for the cycle, just missing that triple. Like,
Yeah.
clearly he was on fire, and that's nothing new. And then Price did his job. So you seeing that the Rays, they might make a run for it. I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Tampa Bay's going to lose tomorrow night in Cleveland.
Now,
so?
besides the baseball playoffs going on, did you guys witness what Robinson Cano has stirred up? I mean, asked for 10 years, $305 million, and
Yeah.
he's 30 years old now. So, what do you think about that?
I think, regardless of the money, if you're gonna, I think if you sign a 30-year-old to a 10-year deal, in and of itself, that's just insane. But for him to be asking for a $305 million contract after the deals that the Yankees offered him during the season didn't even reach $200 million or 8 years, I think it's just absolutely insane. I think it's just a bargaining chip to get them to bring him more money.
But if you were him, though, I mean, you thinking, Mariano's gone. Derek's going to be gone in a little bit. A-Rod is
Yeah.
going to be
Should be
forced
gone.
out. He's going to be forced out. Cano's going to be the face of the Yankees, and he knows that. And with Jay-Z as his manager, I think Jay-Z's just being smart. I think he just put that number out there so that, okay, let's see what they try to bring it down to. So I think that was a smart strategy. When I first heard it, I was like, is he ridiculous? But then after I give it the time, I think that's just one of their strategies to say, let's ask for 305 and settle for 250.
Right.
Well, the last time the Yankees gave a 10-year contract to a 30-year-old, it was Alex Rodriguez. And you know how that worked out.
Don't we all?
Robinson Cano is my favorite Yankee. He just makes the game look effortless. I love the way that he plays. But I think that his offer that he wants is ridiculous. I think he should just aim somewhere more like 8 years, 7, 8 years. Because if you look earlier in the season, the Red Sox re-signed Dustin Pedroia. It was 7 years, $100 million, I think. And Robinson Cano wants 3 more years and 3 times the amount of money. So I think that's
But if you were Robinson Cano, not speaking from like a manager standpoint, if you're Robinson Cano yourself, would you ask for that? Do you think that you're worth that much
yeah, I
money?
do see where he's coming from, because it's when you're negotiating a contract, the player wants high, the team wants low, then they settle somewhere in the middle. So I think it was a smart move. I just don't like it.
That's a lot of money. Also, like, he could become injured, like Derek Jeter was. And how much did he actually get to play this year?
12 games.
Exactly.
Not even.
So I understand the Yankees where they're coming from right now. Hopefully they can meet in the middle for that one.
And the Yankees don't like to spend money anymore with the new owners.
Right. All right, well, I think we should move on to NFL. Some pretty surprising games this weekend. Well, maybe not surprising, but the Redskins were able to finally get their first win.
Against the Raiders.
Granted, it was against the Raiders, but and Joe Flacco, his 5 turnovers. Is he elite? Is he worth the $100 million?
Everyone always has a bad game. Everyone always has a bad game. You can't judge one game off of something like that.
But it's 5 turnovers.
How many has RG3 had? How many
On the
has
season, I think he has, what,
Okay.
5 or 6?
But still,
One game.
In a single
even
game?
if it is just one game, everyone messes up for at least one game. You can't judge one game off of his whole season and if he's going to be elite.
But if
He's into 5 playoff, like every year. All of his seasons, he's into a playoff game. 3 AFC championships, and he just got the Super Bowl. So
Yeah, well,
one game isn't
you-
going to
you-
judge his whole
you're gonna-
eliteness.
You're going to have to deal with people wondering if Joe Flacco is elite for a long time. Just look at Eli
Exactly.
Manning. Eli Manning, every single year that the Giants have won a playoff game, he's won the Super Bowl. Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and there's still people saying that he's not good just
Doesn't
because
he always have a lot of interceptions too?
he wins Super Bowls.
But also,
So is Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco picked the worst time to be bad. I mean, you just won the Super Bowl. Ray Lewis is gone. Ed Reed is gone. Bernard Pollard is gone. They're looking at the Ravens like, okay, Joe, how are you going to make this team better? And clearly he's proving that he needs people around him to be a better player. So I think we were looking for Joe to step up on that pedestal and say, okay, this is my team, and I'll lead us to that championship or another playoff win. And he's just not proving that at all. And by the way, when he went to the playoffs, when he won the AFC Championship, he did lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers before he won the Super Bowl, so let's get out of the way.
Okay, but didn't the Steelers lose when they played us too? I
We
think
have
so.
6
But-
rings, so
They
catch
lost
up.
to Green Bay.
But aren't the Steelers 0-4 right now?
We have six-
but
we have 6
of
rings,
all the
but waiting
0
everybody to
of all
catch
the
up.
0-4 teams, Steelers would have been the last I would have pegged to be in that
Yeah.
category. I mean, they've given up the 2nd most points against in the AFC. The only one ahead of them being the Jaguars, who, as we all know, are looking for that 0-16 season with the first round.
And they're
with
still
first
fighting
pick.
for Tim Tebow. They're still fighting for Tim Tebow. They even have signs that says, bring Tebow and we'll come to the game.
It says, Tebow, why not?
But and then on the other end of the spectrum, though, there's the Broncos and the other undefeated teams. Do you think there's anybody in this league that can beat Peyton Manning and the Broncos?
Broncos,
Yeah.
Seahawks, Super Bowl. That's when we realized, because I don't think the Broncos are just too hot right now with everybody loving Peyton.
Yeah.
And Peyton has this thing to, I mean, he was heartbroken last year, so he's really coming back firing, and we know how great he is, and making the players like Demaryius Thomas and it's just and Wes Welker. Oh my, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he has too many options.
Yeah.
He has Wes Welker, Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker, Julius Thomas. He can just throw it to anybody and he'll score.
And also, Noshawn Marino has proven himself well this year because he used to look like he was about to be a bust. And I was mad about that because I loved him because he came from Georgia. And now it seems like he's stepping into his role and being a very good player that they can depend on.
So do you think is there any team in this league that can beat them, or do you think they're going to go 16-0?
I don't think they're going to go 16-0.
Yeah,
I
I
think they'll
don't think so
be
either.
like 15-1 or 14-2. There might be a team like they play the Patriots this year. The Patriots are the Patriots. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. That's a rivalry. And there's always that one game.
And there's always an
Yeah, there's
upset.
always one
I feel like there
There's
might be
that
an
one game.
upset with like a team you would never think of that's going to end up
But
beating them.
like 16-0, that means weeks where you got 17 weeks, anybody can get hurt. And we're noticing now players don't get hurt just in the game. They're getting hurt for slipping down steps and
Running
Pizza
over
boxes.
pizza boxes. Exactly. So we just gotta. I'm not gonna say the 16-0 yet. Maybe when they reach 10-0, then we can start doing that. But I mean, it's still early, and people are still adjusting. Because I mean, when the Wildcat was on fire, and the Miami Dolphins were doing great, and then they fell off after everybody adjusted to it. So we'll see. We'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
But who do you think is the number 2 ranked team in the NFL?
Yeah,
I've got to go.
Seahawks.
I've got to go Seahawks. I mean,
Yeah.
Richard Sherman. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I hate him as a person. Like he's just such a huge personality, and that bugs me. Like I just can't handle like when guys are that obnoxious about them. Like I mean, sure he might have the skill to back it up, but he's such a huge talker. But I think the Seahawks are the team to beat in the NFC right now. And aside from maybe playing away at Atlanta and at San Francisco, I don't think there's another team on their schedule that can beat them because there's no way in heck they're going to lose at home.
But I think, I mean, if you're Richard Sherman and you're a cornerback, and everybody was talking about Darrell Revis is this and Darrell Revis is that, and you know I mean, he's ridiculous. I mean, he's a 6'2" corner. That is crazy. The average corner is probably like maybe 5'10". So being 6'2" with that reach, I mean, when they played the Falcons and Roddy White was just couldn't catch a ball. Anquan Boldin, we seen this year, couldn't catch a ball.
No,
So Richard Sherman, I think he's allowed to be that cocky because he knows that he has to draw attention on himself. After all that attention, who's everybody talking about? Who's in the commercials? You see Russell Wilson and Kaepernick. You see all these people calling on Russell Wilson and Richard Sherman and the rest of those giants they have in the DBs. So I think he's just trying to hype up the games a little bit.
I agree. 56% of the United States agreed with us too, saying that the Seahawks are the second best team in the NFL.
So what do you guys think of the 0-4 teams? What are they? The Steelers, the Buccaneers, the Jaguars, and the Giants?
I mean, like I said, I think the Steelers are probably the most surprising 0-4 team at this point. I might have gone along with the Giants being a shocker, but the way they've lost and the way they've played these last few weeks, I mean, giving up that kick return against McCluster and the Chiefs,
That was
just
a video game. That was not real life.
the Giants are not playing as well as they have in the past or should be at this level. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants finished dead last in the NFC least.
That
Yeah,
is a
but
good name for them.
I really like what the Giants players are doing. They're stepping up. Like Justin Tuck is defending Tom Coughlin. He said if anybody blames Tom Coughlin, he'll be the first to like punch him in the mouth. And Antrell Roll, who just got named a captain this week, said that they're going to go 12-0 the rest of the season. I like what they're saying, but it's not going to happen.
You gotta have confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
And with their division, though, I mean, you never know what's gonna happen because the Redskins, the Eagles, and the Cowboys, it seems like who's gonna win, and then the next week it's completely different outcome. I mean, everybody thought the Eagles were gonna be the best team in the NFL that first week. It was gonna be Eagles and Broncos, and then we see how that's changed. So the NFC East is always full of surprises. So I think we'll just wait it out on this one. And with the Steelers, I love the Steelers all my life, but it's just not our year. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just happy that the Browns are winning and the Bengals, because it doesn't look like the Steelers are gonna really turn it around. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, who's your two-time Super Bowl championship
That's
quarterback
lovely.
and MVP. He just doesn't seem like he agrees with Todd Haley. And if you don't agree with your offensive coordinator, the offense won't work. And then with not having that spirit they had with Hines Ward a couple years ago and Mike Wallace leaving, it just looks like this is a year for them to look back, see what they need to change, because they lost Pouncey. They lost 5 linemen with Harrison, which was a big shocker. So clearly Pittsburgh needs to just try to work hard just to get one win. Please get one win.
Well,
Brings me great glory
speaking
to
of the
see
Browns,
them 0-4.
though, what do you think is more surprising at this point, the Steelers being 0-4 or the Browns being 2-0 since trading away what was supposed to be their franchise player, Trent Richardson?
The Browns.
Yeah, the Browns.
Browns?
Oh my gosh.
I was
Joe
honestly-
Hayden
oh,
has
sorry.
been playing ridiculous. Joe Hayden I remember watching him in high school because he played high school around my area, and he was just unstoppable, and that's all we were talking about when we went to Florida. So to see him become that cornerback that we saw the potential to be as good, and their tight end is just, oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yes.
a natural athlete, and hands is ridiculous. So the Browns, I think the Browns are going to get third. They're not gonna beat the
gonna
Ravens
get
or
their
the
shot.
Bengals, but they're gonna get third and change it around.
It actually was surprising to see them beat the Bengals, because I thought the Bengals were some big contender, but yet the Browns were able to pull off a win against them.
Yeah, the
So that's
AFC
something
North
good.
is another division where it's going to be a fight to the end of not very good records.
You never know.
Now let's talk about college football, because the big problem, you see this every year,
Yeah.
is them getting paid, and now they're taking the video game away. NCAA football.
Yeah, very.
So 14 will be the last game. Now we saw this happen with basketball because they're not getting paid. What about now? Is this like we're, as a fan who I love video games myself,
Yeah.
and to not be able to play with the college players, I feel just even makes this work. Like I'm really angry about this.
Yeah, so am I.
I mean, getting to play the road to glory and acting like you're Johnny Manziel and having yourself,
Right.
it's just for people who can't do
Yeah.
that. So for them, I mean, has to be an alternative besides taking away the game or something, because the players, I guess they feel like they should be getting paid, but what do you guys think? Should they just pay the players, get out the way, take the game away? Or,
Well, the reason that the game got canceled was because of the lawsuits, and then in the aftermath, the NCAA canceled their license with EA Sports, and then a couple weeks later, the Big Ten and the SEC canceled their license with EA Sports. So EA Sports was like, all right, well, we can't really do this anymore.
Yeah, they're taking away all the teams.
I mean, it's sad to see this, though. I mean, they said that they were exploiting
Yeah.
because they're amateur players. We clearly know college football is no longer an amateur sport.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I mean, the money they bring in years after years. This is not for amateur.
I mean, when we've all played the game. I mean, when you start the game, it's not like you have to go out of your way and find
Yeah,
those
oh yeah, you
rosters
have
with
to-
all those names on it,
Right.
instead of playing with Texas A&M quarterback number 2. You have to go out and find Johnny Manziel. So I think like if they do a little bit of something to change like the likeness, I guess, then maybe they'll think about bringing it back. But until then, I think they just have to work out this thing with the NCAA and all the individual conferences so they can get the game back on the market, because I need my NCAA team next year.
Yeah, so do I. It's my favorite game.
Now, did you guys happen to catch the Georgia versus LSU game? Because that game was really good. I mean,
Yeah.
with Georgia, everybody was looking at them like, what are they going to do this year? And it looks like Andy Murray has proven himself a lot. And also, the fact that they won, I think he threw a touchdown with like a minute left, a minute 30, which so you can clearly see that he's proven his poise and that he can lead this team. And the funny thing about it is that number 3 for LSU, Odell Beckham, he was doing ridiculous that game, and he said that he actually tried to go to Georgia, didn't get in, transferred to LSU and said, I want to play them because they didn't give me a scholarship. So that was interesting.
Yeah, it was a really good game. See, I really don't like the SEC as a conference. I hate how dominant they are. I hate the ignorance of the fans. But it's the best football. It's just plain and
It is.
simple. I love the SEC. I love watching their games. I just hate everything else.
I mean, any SEC matchup throughout the season is going to be a great one to watch. I mean, regardless of who
Absolutely.
Alabama's playing. I mean, they could be playing Tennessee. It's still going to be a great game to watch.
Yeah.
And Georgia, they've been playing they played Clemson, they played South Carolina, now playing LSU. So clearly they're playing top dogs within the first week. So I think this is going to really help them out. If they keep pushing forward, keeping that record good, they might make a run for the national championship.
Is it safe to say the national championship is going to an SEC team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you
I
think
think
like
I'll
the
say that for
Pac-12,
the next 5
Oregon,
years.
Oregon can't compete? Is there any team in the nation that can beat Alabama?
No.
No.
Not
Ohio State.
I was about to say that
Ohio State.
actually.
I think
Okay.
Ohio State can.
Oh, I found this quote by Urban Meyer. He said that the best thing about being 5-0 is having the chance to go 6-0. And they're playing Northwestern on Saturday night.
So
So we'll have to see. Maybe.
Everybody's starting to get cocky again, so I guess.
Clearly, they're going to have to back that up.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer
They can.
is 17-0 now as coach of Ohio State. Someone's got to stop them.
Yeah. So I think Alabama knows that they're on their radar, but they'll wait till they meet up.
You're
All
right.
right, what do you guys think about, we all know the government has been shut down
Yeah.
officially, so
Yeah.
unfortunately that's going to have an impact on athletics throughout college sports with the three service academies.
Commanders.
Navy,
Yeah.
Air Force, and
Yeah,
Army.
the Navy Air Force game this weekend might be canceled because Air Force can't travel to Annapolis, which is said that the game was already sold out, so that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
That's
it's really
awful.
disappointing for
I
the
couldn't
fans
imagine
and
it.
for the players.
Yeah.
Because they train so hard and then they can't even
Right.
play. Like, that's
Yeah.
not fair to anybody.
For something that they can't even control. And
Right.
These aren't grown men. These are, guys that come our age or a little bit older. So,
Yeah.
and to see them prove themselves in that field and get the people watch them, and then not being able to do what they love, that's just terrible. I feel so sorry for them.
And especially with all the training that they're doing outside of football, just
Oh,
like
yeah, exactly.
training to be in the military, and then they can't even play. Like,
Yeah.
that's unfair.
Congress needs to get their stuff together
Yeah.
because if come December I'm not allowed to see one of my favorite football games
Army
ever,
Navy?
Army Navy.
Yes,
I
that's
just love the
so
tradition of that game. I
Yeah.
went to the one in Washington D.C. a couple years back, and that was one of the best games I've ever seen. So if I don't get to watch my Army Navy game, we're gonna have a problem.
Yes, I agree. I've been to 3 of them. They're so fun. They just bring like such a good rivalry.
Well, it also has, it's not just an impact when they play each other, but it's also just when Air Force plays their regular conference schedule, they're not going to be able to leave to go play anybody. That's a big problem.
Right.
Clearly, there's going to be a bunch of fans mad about this, and you know that nobody's going to be happy about this. And with those sold out tickets, if they don't play this weekend, somebody's going to get their money back.
Yeah, they better. They truly better get their. Oh, tonight's the start of hockey.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
exciting.
Opening
Blackhawks
night,
and the
Blackhawks,
Caps.
Caps.
Yeah,
I'm
the
so excited.
That'll
Blackhawks
be a good
defending
one.
their Stanley Cup title.
What do you guys think about going into this game? Who do you think is gonna get it?
I'm taking the Blackhawks.
Taking
I say the
Blackhawks?
Blackhawks, but it's one of 82. You can't really.
Right.
It's not like football where every game,
Matters.
every single game matters.
Right. I agree. I think I'm a diehard Caps fan, but I'm thinking Chicago's going to pull this one out. But I think it's going to go into overtime because there's so many good players. I mean, Chicago, they've got Taves, they've got Kane, but on the other end of the spectrum, Caps have Ovechkin and Backstrom. So I think this is going to be decided by goaltending, and I think it's going to go into
Agree.
overtime. And I mean, I'm hoping Holtby is going to be able to pull one out, but I think Chicago's going to end up getting this one.
The Blackhawks had a lot of overtime games just in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Right.
So
Overtime hockey is the most intense.
it
It
is. You're on the edge of your seat the whole time.
But I don't think the Caps are going to win either because I blame the Redskins because it seems like DC teams follow other DC teams.
Right.
And the Redskins did not start off well, so I believe that the Caps are going to start off a little shaky and then start heating up.
I saw that. I saw that Alex Ovechkin got to carry the Olympic torch the other
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Started
For his
in
country.
Greece, being the first Russian to
Yeah.
carry the torch.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Good for him. I'm proud of him. He's my boy.
Yeah. He's ready.
I'm actually really excited for this NHL season because they have the division realignments now
Oh,
with
yeah.
with Winnipeg was in Northwest Canada, but they're playing in the Eastern Conference, so they had to realign the divisions. And now it's the Pacific and Central divisions in the West, and in the East it's the Atlantic division, which doesn't make sense because it consists of the Northeast and Canadian teams and then the 2 Florida teams. And then the division with the Capitals and the Devils and the New York teams, the
That's-
Metropolitan division.
That's just
Well,
a
that makes
stacked
sense.
division.
It's
That's
yeah,
good,
it
'cause
makes,
it's like
it
the
makes
cities.
sense. It makes sense,
Yeah.
but the name of the division is the Metropolitan Division.
I kind of like it.
Uh,
Cities. There you go.
That's going to be an intense division. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you've got Boston,
Yeah.
New York, New Jersey, Washington, Philly. I mean, that's just
gonna
going
be
to
crazy.
well, Boston is in the
Oh, you're right,
Atlantic
you're right.
Division. The Metropolitan is the New Yorks, including Buffalo,
And
New
Buffalo,
Jersey,
yeah.
Philly, Pittsburgh,
Washington.
yeah, Washington, Carolina.
I think it's up for grabs in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's just going to be intense watching
Yeah.
that play out.
Yeah.
Very crazy. Is there any other divisions? Oh, I'm guessing this is a wrap for us tonight. I'm Amanda Newman.
I'm Amir Carter.
Travis Nardella.
Will Ovington.
Have a good night.